Good morning. I introduce myself. My name is Jagdish Kumar. I'm completing my post graduation in physics stream. This is my tutorial name. This is called Nandini Physics Tutorial. And through this tutorial, I teach IIT JAM and GATE and CISR net coaching classes. Okay, so through this channel I am explaining all these topics. So first of all, I starts with my paper atomic and molecular spectroscopy. So after then I teach remaining papers also. This is called, now the paper is atomic and molecular physics. Okay, so first of all I discuss about what is atomic. After then I take the classes of molecular physics. So in atomic physics, so come to atomic physics. So atomic physics. So generally what is the atomic physics? So it is a study of microscopic and macroscopic behavior. So generally atomic physics are the structure of atom, everybody. Okay, so this is called the general study or the investigation of structure. Okay, so it is study of microscopic and macroscopic behavior of atom. So this is the generally what atomic physics says. Atomic physics is nothing but study of microscopic and macroscopic behavior of atom. So first of all I starts with this class from Rutherford's scattering experiment. After that I explain what is the Bohr atomic theory. Okay, so come to Rutherford experiment. So I just erase this. Please note, study of microscopic and macroscopic properties or properties or behavior of a atom. So this is called atomic physics. Okay. So now I discuss first what is the basic concept of Rutherford atomic model. Rutherford atomic model. Okay, so this is a completely classical mechanical theory. This is called classical electromagnetic theory. This is classical electromagnetic theory. Okay, he was conducting an experiment, alpha scattering experiment. On the basis of alpha scattering experiment, so this is called alpha scattering experiment. Alpha scattering experiment by Goldfoil method. Okay, so on the basis of this theory, this experiment, he concluded that there is a charged particle inside the atom. So that charged particle, that charged particle's name as nucleus, and the charge of this nucleus, first he was invented what is actually Rutherford was invented the proton. So every atom is the center, there is a charged particle, these charge either proton or neutron. Okay, so therefore he first invented the proton charge. So this is the nucleus, the charge of this nucleus is Ze. Okay, around this charge nucleus there is an electron cloud is present. These electrons are revolving in stationary orbits, like, okay, those electrons are revolving. Okay, so due to the rotation or due to the spinning of this electron, otherwise the precision, self precision of electron will gives centripetal force Okay, and after that there is a distance between center of the nucleus and electron. That distance is nothing but r, and there is a, this is also charged particle and this is also positive charge. So therefore there is a attraction or repulsion force existing between these two charges. That attraction or repulsion force is nothing but Coulombic force. So the Coulombic force is also, he was introduced a Coulombic force term between these two charges, that Coulombic force, Coulomb force. Okay, at certain instant these two charges are equal according to classical theory. Okay, so therefore the magnitude of centripetal force is equal to magnitude of Coulombic repulsion force. At certain instant these two charges are almost, these two forces are equivalent due to classical theory, concept of classical electromagnetic theory. So therefore the precession of electron gives a centripetal force, and similarly the attraction between the charge and nucleus will always depends at Coulombic force. At particular instant these two charges are almost, these two forces are almost equal. So therefore what is actually Coulombic repulsion force? That is called what is the centripetal force acting on this? The mass of this charged particle is, the mass of this charged particle is small m, and this particle having some velocity, this is called v velocity, because it rotating in this specified orbit, okay, with accelerated velocity v. So therefore that centripetal force is mv square by r. At the same way, what is the Coulombic repulsion force? This is the charge particle Ze, and this is the charge. So therefore this is called Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So from this theory we can cancel both this. Okay, so finally he get mb square is equal to Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Okay, so from this equation Rutherford first of all explained the total energy. So that is nothing but kinetic energy and potential energy. So what is the potential energy of this particle? Potential energy P is equal to minus Ze by 4 pi epsilon naught r, Ze square 4 by epsilon naught. This is the potential energy. Now what is the kinetic energy of this particle? See, I'll explain the kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is nothing but, kinetic energy is nothing but half into mv square. So I already got mv square, so therefore half into mv square, the kinetic energy Ke is equal to, this is Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. 4 into 1 by 2, this is nothing but 8 pi epsilon naught r. So this is the kinetic energy and this is the potential energy. Now Rutherford explained the total energy of the atom. So therefore the total energy E is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, so finally he concluded that the total energy of this atom by classical electromagnetic theory, which is a application of alpha scattering experiment by Goldfoil method. Okay, so here I got the total energy of this atom is E is equal to, see, what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is Ze square by 8 pi epsilon naught r, plus what is the potential energy? This is nothing but minus, because potential energy is negative, minus Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So total energy E is equal to, take LCM 8 pi epsilon naught r, take LCM 8 pi epsilon naught r. So this is 8 Ze square minus 2 times, okay, 2 Ze square. So finally total energy is equal to minus Ze square by 8 pi epsilon naught. So this is the total energy. Okay, so total energy of that oscillator. So total energy of the atomic. Okay, see, according to classical theory, the charge emitted radiation. So according to this classical electromagnetic theory, the charge emitted some radiation by his phenomena. See, according to this phenomena is completely explained under the classification of electromagnetic theory. So classical electromagnetic theory, according to classical electromagnetic theory, the charge of the atom emitted some radiation. Okay, according to classical electromagnetic theory, according to classical electromagnetic theory, the charge emit radiation, the charge emit radiation. Okay. So right now I want to find out the power of this emitted radiation. So therefore the power of emitted radiation is given by is given by so P is equal to minus 2 by 3 times, okay, Q square A square by C cube. Okay, so this is called emitted power, actually radiation, emitted power of radiation or emitted radiation power. This is the power, and where A is called so this A is nothing but constant. This A is called not constant, this A is nothing but acceleration right now. Acceleration. Which acceleration? Because this electron is revolving in this stationary orbit. Now this electron is moving with some velocity, okay, because the mass of this electron is m, okay, and the electron will revolving in this circular orbit with the sufficient velocity. So therefore the velocity square times by that distance is giving what is that? Is nothing but acceleration. So I want to find out acceleration from this equation only. So see here, this is the acceleration formula. We can find out acceleration by using this formula, that is called V square by R is equal to Z E square by 4 pi epsilon naught m R square. Okay, so I am not cancel this R right now m square, okay, R square. So this is the acceleration. What is this? This is nothing but acceleration of the particle. Okay, so this is the acceleration. Now I want to write that acceleration A is equal to V square by R is equal to, see, this is nothing but Z E square by 4 pi epsilon naught m R square. So simply I substitute this acceleration in this above equation. So I will get P is equal to minus 2 by 3 Q into Q square by C cube. Okay, then what is the charge here? Charge is nothing but electron. Here the charge is nothing but charge means electron only. So this is E square into what is the A square value? A square is given by Z square e power, so square, that's why I write square, divided by 16 pi square epsilon naught square m square r power 4. So finally from this equation what we will get? See, from this equation what you will get? The power, the emitted power due to this classical electromagnetic theory, the charge emitted, this charge is emitted some radiation, that now I want to find out that radiated power. So this radiated power right now, this radiated power I will write here, this radiated power, so that radiated power P is proportional to, is inversely proportional to P, inversely proportional to fourth power of its distance. So what is this distance is nothing but nucleus T, so electron, nucleus to electron distance. So this is the fourth time. So from this equation what we concluded that, so P proportional to R power 4. Okay, that means electron loses energy through radiation. So therefore we concluded that electron loses their energy, okay, electron loses their energy through radiation. Understand? Radiation. Okay, so electron through loses their energy through radiation. The total electron, the total charge, okay, electron charge become more and more. So the total electron charge more and more. Okay, so the total electron charge more and more, which implies us what will be happen, this implies us the potential energies increases. So which implies us potential energy increases. Understand? Potential energy increases, which implies as potential energy increases. So therefore, as the radiation of electrons become progressively progressively shorter. So if the process is continuous, then electron falls with the nucleus, hence atom will be unstable. So please write, this is very important. If electron loses their energy through a radiation, because from this equation I get this answer. So electron loses their energy through radiation, that is the total electron charge more and more, which implies the potential energy increases. So therefore, the radiation of electrons, the radiation of electron becomes progressively shorter. Okay, progressively shorter. If this process is continuous, then the electron fall in nucleus. Okay, so this process is now progressively the distance is very short, because this electron loses the energy through radiation, means the total electron charge more and more, which implies the potential energy, whatever the potential energy is deliberated at this atom, that potential energy is obviously increasing. Now the potential energy increasing means the radiation of electrons become progressively short. So if this process is continuous, then electron will fall in nucleus, then finally the atom is unstable condition. The atom unstable. Okay, but this is the contradiction to actual fact. Okay, so what we are observing finally, this is contradiction to actual fact. Okay, so this is contradiction to actual fact. So therefore, Rutherford experiment and Rutherford atomic model was not explain the stability of electron. So how the electron with stability, and he cannot explain if this nucleus is having infinite or finite mass. Okay, so he cannot explain this thing also. For suppose this is a infinite mass or finite mass, he can't explain. At the same time, he was not explaining the stability of electron, why this electron is continuously rotating in this stationary orbit. Okay, if according to classical electromagnetic theory, we will derive radiation, emitted radiation by using classical electromagnetic theory, we will get P is inversely proportional to 1 by R power 4 times. That means the power, the radiated power is increasing when if the radiated power is increasing, what will be happen? The radius of this, the distance between nucleus and electron will be abruptly decreases. Okay, so therefore, for some time, after some time, this electron may fall into this nucleus, and this nucleus is completely demonstrous, means it is now unstable condition. Okay, further there is no electron, no atom. Okay, if electrons are fall into this nucleus, means nucleus will be completely unstable. So therefore it will be dimensions. So therefore it is actually a contradiction to fact. So after coming Niels Bohr, he can explain the concepts whatever the Rutherford considered. So the same concepts he was implemented, but he was considered small additional things to add this theory. Finally he derived which is almost meaningful theory. Okay, so now I'll explain the Bohr concept, Bohr evolutionary theory. Before he was explaining the Bohr concept, he was considered some postulates of the theory. I'll explain the postulates first of all. After then I'll write all these things. Okay, so please note everybody. Okay, now the concept is Bohr theory. Bohr atomic model. Okay, in Bohr atomic model, Bohr was considered nucleus is infinite mass. Okay, he was considered a nucleus is infinite mass. First of all, consideration of Bohr atomic model. So considerations, what the considerations he implement means, see in Bohr atomic model, nucleus, so this is a nucleus. Okay, so nucleus is always at rest position, is always at rest, keep it rest, and it is infinite mass. Okay, that means the mass of the nucleus is always greater than, almost much greater than mass of electron. Okay, he was considered before starting his experiment, he was considered this nucleus is almost in rest position and it is also having infinite mass. Okay, so he was considered some postulates to derive this Bohr atomic model. The first postulate is postulates. Okay, so first postulate is nothing but see, this is the first postulate what he was considered. So almost electrons, okay, so electrons revolving around this nucleus almost are stationary states. Okay, that means a fixed orbits. So electrons, these electrons, okay, for suppose this is a nucleus, now electrons revolving around this nucleus. So these electrons revolving this nucleus, around this nucleus, is almost are in circular path, in circular path, understand. So according to classical theory, he was explained according to classical theory in circular path. So the electrons which are revolving around this nucleus almost in circular path, that is called orbits. Okay, circular path. So classically, this is a classically he was explained. So in classically, the force experience between this nucleus and electron, that force is nothing but Coulombic force. Okay, and this is the first postulate. Every electron, the electrons which are revolving around this nucleus is almost are considered as a stationary paths, that is called circular paths. Okay, circular paths are stationary paths, stationary path. Okay, so he was considered that first postulate, and the second postulate is quantization of, because he was explained both classically and quantumly. So second one is angular momentum, quantization of angular momentum, quantization of angular momentum. Okay, he was explained the quantization of angular momentum, that angular momentum L is equal to mvr. So this angular momentum is equal to integral multiples of nh. Okay, integral multiples of nh, where h is a Planck's constant and is the number of shells. Okay, and this L is nothing but angular momentum. This angular momentum is quantization in Bohr atomic model. how you we will see in next class how I derive all these things, okay. And the third assumption is that is nothing but postulate. Third postulate is, in a fixed orbit the emitted radiation. So in a fixed orbit the electron does not emit radiation, okay. In fixed orbit okay, the electron emitted, understand, in a fixed orbit the electron emitted in a fixed orbit the electron does not emitted, okay, electron does not emitted any radiation though it accelerate, okay, though it accelerate. So in a fixed orbit this electron does not emit any radiation, okay. He consider the postulate of third postulate is, in a fixed orbit, see this is a fixed orbit because it is a stationary path fixed orbit. In this fixed orbit the electron does not emit any radiation although it is accelerated. But acceleration, how classically it is accelerated, because this electron is rotating in the circular path, means this electron having all directions. So for suppose the electron is present here, after some time the velocity of this electron in this direction, if electron is presenting after some time here, the velocity in this direction, so through this velocity it accelerate, okay. So but it does not emit any radiation although it accelerated, okay. And the fourth postulate is, if electron jump from higher energy level to lower energy level, for suppose this is a nucleus, okay, around this nucleus circular orbits are there, these are the stationary circular orbits around these orbits. So now the electron right now present in this circular orbit, now this electron is a jump from one state to another state, okay, otherwise from initial state to final state, okay. So it emit a photon, energy. So this photon energy is nothing but energy of this photon is E is equal to h nu, okay. So energy of the photon, and nu is nothing but incident the frequency, emitted frequency. So frequency of emitted wave, frequency of emitted wave, understand. So when an electron jump from higher energy level to lower energy level or lower energy to higher energy level, it emits a photons. So therefore this is nothing but how the total energy is equal to C, initial minus final energy, okay. So this is nothing but changing energy actually. So this changing energy, this energy is equal to h nu, this is called photon energy, and this photon energy is now equivalent to Ei minus Ef. So this is nothing but changing energy, where h is a Planck's constant and nu is called emitted frequency of emitted wave. So these are the four postulates he was considered. Due to using these four postulates, he explained the Bohr atomic theory, okay. But Bohr was explained atomic model by hydrogen atoms only, okay. In hydrogen atoms he considered hydrogen atom. In hydrogen atom, why he was considered hydrogen atom only? Because hydrogen atom having one proton and one electron, okay. Not only hydrogen like atoms also. So what is hydrogen like atoms? So lithium plus plus is hydrogen atom because in 3 protons and 1 electron, okay. And beryllium 2 protons and 1 electron. So these are all hydrogen like atoms, because these like hydrogen atoms or hydrogen like atoms, how many protons are there, it is not matter, if any number of protons, but these atoms are only 1 electrons, Okay, so the Bohr theory was explained for one electron theory, and it is also called as one electron Bohr theory or hydrogen atom theory, hydrogen like atom theory. Okay, so therefore next in my next class I explain the Bohr atomic model I by using hydrogen like atoms. In hydrogen like atoms he explained velocity of electron and radius and energy and frequency. I explain all this term my next class. Okay, so I starts hydrogen atom from Bohr theory. I explain hydrogen atom. So this is my lecture. Please subscribe my channel, because my channel name is Nandini Physics Tutorial. It is especially starts from IIT JAM, GATE and CSIR NET. So I explain the one of the important PG paper, that is called atomic and molecular physics. So now I'll first of all I starts atomic physics. After then I move to molecular physics. Molecular physics, some of the important topics like rotational spectra, vibrational spectra, rotation vibration spectra, and Raman spectra, like this. And in atomic physics starts with Rutherford experiment. After then I need Bohr atomic model, but our syllabus is in Bohr atomic model only, because in PG level we are start studying from Bohr theory. So Bohr principle by hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms. After then after the hydrogen atom, hyperfine structure like alpha splitting, Balmer series, and different series are there in hydrogen atoms. Okay, after then I'll find out Rydberg constant. So all is this completed. After then I'm going to coupling schemes. Okay, JJ coupling, LS coupling, spin interactions. Okay, spin interactions. So these are the important topics of the Zeeman effect, Stark effects, anomalous Zeeman effect, hyperfine Zeeman effect, all these things. I can explain all these things by using this channel. Through this channel I post my videos. So please subscribe everybody. We will meet at next class. Thank you.